This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher. And I've recovered from surgery. I had a hiatal hernia repair, and I had a 2.5-inch hole in my diaphragm, which was large, causing a lot of grief and not being able to breathe properly when you have your stomach in your lungs. And but I am recovering and doing well. Can't lift anything. When they sew your diaphragm back together, it's a little bit longer recovery than a normal hiatal hernia repair. But we are going to do fragments and reticulas today. And I had so much fun with these, and I just decided I needed to go back to basics in Zentangle. So you can see it's kind of a snowy day here, and if you look out, you'll probably see cars go by. Yep, there's a car going by, and they're probably going a little bit too fast. My husband's outside shoveling snow, and we're going to draw. So hold on, and let's get to reticulas and fragments. And here we are. These are the two books that I'm going to be teaching out of today. And this is a collection from Zentangle. Rick and Maria did a collection of reticulas and fragments. And they are contributions from certified Zentangle teachers all over the world who came to a Zen again. And if you look in this book, you'll see lots of ideas for using reticulas and fragments. And you can get this book on my website for $20. And the proceeds for when you buy this book go to helping others get a scholarship to do a Zentangle class, so they can apply for the scholarship. Another book I'm going to be using is the primer, and you can there's a link for this one in the description below from my affiliate link from Amazon. So if you're interested in buying this book, you can get it through that affiliate link. And today we are going to be doing, I'm going to show you how I did this particular tangle, and I'm using the the reticula of Tripole. So we're going to help you understand what the difference what a fragment is and what a reticula is. So I'm going to open my Zentangle primer book, and I'm going to turn to chapter 7, which is reticulas and fragments. What are they and how do you use them? And a reticula is, it's like a grid. I'm not going to read you word for word out of this book, but it is a grid. And Rick and Maria like the sound of reticula, and it perfectly describes a grid. So you might think of a grid as just squares, or it could be triangles, or it could be like, well, there's lots of ways to make a grid. So this is kind of the new grid we're going to try. So I'm just going to show you how you draw a Tripole. And we want to make it fairly large. So I'm going to start out, and I usually do my Tripole or Tripole a very large triangle, or I might look at it as a candy corn. They kind of look like that. And then we're going to draw another one. And I find that if I do it in that step, where I come down the side and then over across the bottom, then come back up and down and do the other side. Because I really don't What I'm most concerned about here is that I keep my spacing between my little shapes equal. The size of the shape does not worry me, but the distance between. So you see, now I'm going to come down this side and angle off, and then come around. This way my shape, or my triangular shape, I'm not worried about whether it's even. Think of it as when you cut an orange and you see those triangle shapes in an orange, none of them are actually perfectly even. Some of them are a little bigger than others, but we want these segments to be very large because we're going to draw in the center of them. And I like to have 6 segments, but if I can't get 6, I'm okay with having less. The idea is to draw down and then over, and then I've got my triangle shape. And I'm really not concerned about it being a perfect, in a line or a grid. You can go to my other videos and look up Tripole and see how it's drawn. But there we have it. So now we have our grid space. And now we're going to look at the fragments that are in the book. So I'm going to go to, in the book, the primer book, there is a page that has triangular shapes. And they're listed A through L and 11 through 16. So I am going to pick one of these segments that I'm going to draw in the center of here. And I've got a couple of them that I've done here. And I wrote on the back so I could remember. This was A12. So I picked this fragment of a tangle that's A12. So that's where the fragments is. It's just a portion of the tangle. And I put it in here to create this tangle. This one, I used the fragment, let's look on the back, E13, and so we'll look here. B12 was this one, so you can kind of see that we have, A12, not B12, A12, and this one was E13, which is this one right here. So E13 is this one right here that I'm doing. I haven't finished it completely. And now I'm just going to pick one of the fragments to put in the center of this. So I'm going to do K. We'll look at it here. I just randomly picked K14. So I'm going to do this one right here in the center of this tangle. So now I'm just going to start, and I'm just going to spiral into the center. And I'm going to do that same thing on every one of these Tripole triangles. Try to keep the spacing equal. And I like to rotate my tiles so that I have it in the most comfortable position for me to draw. Okay, now we're going to come in a little bit so you can see this, and we're going to do some shading. So I'm just going to put a little graphite in the center of each one of these little areas. And I'm just laying it down pretty generic, just a little scribble in the center where that spiral came in. And now I'm going to take my shading stump and I'm just going to blend it out. And this is pretty plain Tangle for me. Usually I like a little bit more dark in here. So to add to this, I'm just going to add some little dark pearl-like things, just little scribbles, and they're just going to come little circles, but I'm giving them a little bit of light in the center, and I'm just going to nestle them in between and on the outside edge of my drawing, just to give a little bit more interest, because I think it's just a little bit too light. Try to vary the sizes of them to give it a little bit more interest. And you can see how that's just adding to the interest of this tangle. Just a fun little reticula and fragment. And there you have it. So let's look at this one right here that I did. I don't like to demonstrate too much on black because it's hard to see, but this one I just did my Tripole, and then I'm going to echo the inside edge and then do a little curved line, and I'm giving it just a little bit of a sparkle where I don't draw, but I found it's better to do the inside tracing right away, then come in and do those little lines so that you don't get lost. But isn't that great? And I could go back and with my Jelly Roll also add a little bit more color with just tiny little dots around the outside. And that's today's lesson on reticulas and fragments. And we're going to go through several so that you can get the idea of what a reticula is. It is a grid, but it doesn't have to be a grid that you think of square. It can be circles, it can be triangles, it can be squares. So we're going to show you several different reticulas as we go along. So watch for our next video on reticulas and fragments. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. New videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Thanks again and have a great day.